How do I know this? Because every day on the forums, every day I'm getting asked by the average partner, what's the best RMM? Who cares? They're all the same. They all do the same thing. We've already embedded, we've already invested. For partners, it's easier for us to talk about this, to save maybe 50 cents an endpoint. To put that in perspective, for 500 endpoints, we're talking about $3,000 a year in savings. Great. But for the average partner, charging $185 an hour, that's a project of 16 hours work that we could have sold to a client. That's probably going to cost us 50 hours of work to change RMM. So we're not even going to save the money. But it's easier for us to default to that rather than go talk to our clients because we don't feel comfortable. We don't know what to go look for. We're scared to look like an idiot in the room. We're afraid that if we ask a question and don't have an answer, that we've lost value. And that's not the case. It's going to be the case when others can come in, ask a question and have answers. But a lot of people don't have answers. The fact that you're asking a question is valuable in itself. What's not valuable is wasting time thinking which RMM brand is the best. To get a minor improvement, to squeeze as much as possible out of what we've already had. And that's the attitude that we have in a lot of things. We're going internal, we're getting sucked into the tactical. And then this flows into our technical capabilities. So for a few years, every year around the middle of the year, I've been sharing what I see as the top 10 worst practices going on in the industry. And I thought, year one I could do this, and then I'd have to change it every year because people will be improving, getting better. It's actually the opposite. I think I'm up to year 4. I have to extend the list out to the top 20 because as an industry, we can't get the basic stuff right. And this is scary because cybercrime is only getting worse and worse and worse. Our clients are getting hit, not because they're not buying cybersecurity solutions. Most of the time they're getting hit because we've poorly configured their environments. Everyone laughs, but how many RDP ports are still bloody open to the internet? We enable VPNs without MFA. We let clients' environments in M365 not have basic security controls like MFA as well. Yet this doesn't cost any extra for us to do this by default. But we're in the mindset that we can't do these sort of things because we're stuck in the days of thinking that we're still reactive support providers. And this doesn't just extend to the way that we engage with our clients. What's more scary is we can't even do this stuff for ourselves. I've got about 2 to 3 partners reaching out to me week on week for the last 4 months that have been hit by a cyber incident themselves. I've seen partners being hit, half their clients getting cryptoed. I've seen partners getting hit and the accounts breached, and then the cyber criminals get into their suppliers, place orders, pick it up, sell it. I've seen data centers being hit, you name it. Most of the time, I'm probably being generous, but 90% of the time, they've been hit because they're negligent. They can't do basic things like put MFA on things, have closed RDP access, simple basic stuff that we should be doing by default because we're too busy. And this is super dangerous. We know why. I've seen partners dealing with insurance claims. I've seen having to cut staff because they've been hit and they don't have the money to maintain and keep steady in these sort of events. And it's just ramping up. And I don't think enough of us are taking that attack vector seriously. Not just to protect our businesses, but more scarily, we're not actually protecting our clients. For most of our clients, their biggest threat is us and our poor practices. We don't take that seriously enough. There's way too many cowboys in this industry. And it's not just the low-level guys that are cutting corners. It's the average partners are just as bad. It's a false sense of security. And it can be a false sense of entitlement or ego that they think they're better than they are. And we've got to do better. And we're still stuck at trying to fling licenses. I had a few conversations with partners today and different vendors. Everyone can see it. We're defaulting down to commodity. We're getting fed solutions by vendors, and we're looking at just what's the simplest way to fling a license, wrap a cheap service around it, so that we can just make magic money. That's our attitude. And that's what's reflected in the market. We're commoditizing some things that shouldn't be. We're focusing on driving the commodities in businesses that aren't at scale. That's not how we make money. But we've gone to trying to find the easiest way to grow revenue. Because all of us are panicking because we're losing clients, we're struggling to get leads. What do? Well, there's an easy way, let's just fling a license. But that's not helping anyone. Because we're not properly providing a service, we're not providing any advice around it. And when we do often try and fling licenses, most of our clients don't take all of it up anyway. So we're creating all this other mess and losing more efficiencies. And then we've got AI coming with every vendor coming at us telling us we need to be across AI so they can fling more licenses. Most of us haven't got our heads around it. We're stuck trying to find out what the right solution is, what the right tech is, flinging generative AI. We don't even understand the technology behind all of this. We're helping our clients create more problems and more cyber risks than if we actually come from a place of understanding. Again, we're rushing into things without being a thought leader, without diving into it, without understanding our clients' businesses. The partners that are being the most successful are the ones that are leading with advisory, whereas most other partners don't even speak to their clients. How can you solve a business problem if you don't know what your client does, how they do it, how they make their money, and what you can make more efficient? For many of us, what we're doing is grabbing stuff that sounds shiny, we've got a solution, and then we're trying to find a problem for it to fit. And this is how we keep missing the mark. This is how we don't get traction. But also, it's not helping our sales and account management people succeed. Technology has become broader than it ever has. We don't enable our teams because we don't understand it enough. And then we basically have got a bunch of order takers waiting for the clients to make these magic orders for us to actually make money. People are stalling out. Go back to the project services profitability. We're not selling things because the team doesn't know what's available. They don't know what business problems they're solving because us as owners don't know that answer either. And so we're trapping ourselves again. We look incompetent because we don't just ask questions. And you've heard me say that over and over again. And I'm finding that it's not just understanding the clients, it's how we look at our own businesses. We're not questioning what we're doing. We're doubling down on what we've always done. And this is not the time to be doing that. We need to put our heads up, understand the market properly, understand where we're heading, and start making decisions towards that. And we go to pricing. And you can see up on the screen at the moment, this is the average sort of pricing out there on the ANZ market. I know lots of people get excited about this, but I'm going to skip ahead. Here's the premium. But what's interesting, I found, is I've always looked at this from two lenses. One, most of us aren't charging enough. quite simply. There's a reason why the industry averages have always been quite considerably less than the best in class. Most people think best in class is purely to do with efficiencies. If we throw more tools at it, we get more efficient, we'll have higher margins. The answer actually is if you just price it right in the first place. We all do the same thing. Some of us do it slightly better than others, but we're all doing the same thing. If you charge the right price, you get the right margins by default. But most of us don't do that. The second thing is I realised prices haven't changed. I did this analysis 3 years ago with Pax8. These are the same prices as they were 3 years ago. So while some partners are still increasing it year on year, as a market, they've actually been quite stagnant. Usually the premium space keeps increasing quite a lot, but the premium market stalled. So that should tell us something. It's not about how they sell, it's about what we're selling and how we're providing it. We've hit peak for our traditional services, our one-time projects, our recurring managed services for end user support and infrastructure management. We've hit the peak. There's only going to be so long that we're going to be able to catch up. If you're average or worse, you don't have long to close this gap because we've hit the commodity point for our traditional services. All that's going to happen from here is there's going to be some savvy players that can really drive good standardized automated approaches that are going to drive the prices down at volume. They're going to make money and everyone else is going to lose in this space.